Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Cape Crusader Cody, and we're keeping it geekly with our new guest, John Sollitto. We're here to break down Veritas issues 1, 2, 3, and 4, and everything in between. John, welcome to the stream. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the chance to read issues 1 through 3 on Webtoons. Right now, you're doing a Kickstarter to bring these to physical form, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That is correct, yes. I'm excited.
So let's begin with the basics. Let's start with who you are and how you got into creating comics.
Sure. My name is John from California. I have been writing comics for about 6 years now. Very much it was an exercise actually to see if I could write novels. Mm-hmm. And then I realized I enjoyed writing comics a lot more because the problem I was having with books was, oh man, I just keep writing and I never stop. I don't know how to end a chapter. And I was like, what if I write a comic? It's self-contained. It's got so many pages per issue. What if I write that? And then I graduate grander and grander sizes. And it turned out I enjoyed writing comics a lot more than I enjoyed writing books. Not that I just like writing books. I have a book of short stories, but I enjoy comics because they're frankly a little bit more fun. The collaborative effort is so much more engaging and artistically rewarding, I think, sometimes. So I've been writing for about 6 or 7 years now. Veritas is my first series. Second series is a detective series called Certifiable Investigations. It's also on Webtoon. That is a little bit like Big Trouble in Little China meets Columbo in the 1920s. That's awesome. Veritas, thank you. Veritas is if Law and Order met Invincible. It's a little bit like C.O.W.L from Image Comics, a little bit like The Incredibles, more focused on people and the people behind the mask and in the costume than, oh my God, the universe is ending. There's a grand catastrophe about to happen. This is about how people handle being superheroes and how the things that they deal with affect them and change their perspectives and brains on how they look at the world.
Absolutely. We have CM Holy over on Twitch dropping in to drop some emojis over on Twitch. We appreciate you stopping in, Chris. So, I love, what you did with this character. We have a character. I mean, are we allowed to talk about it, or do you want to kind of keep it spoiler free?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's been online for a while now, so I imagine.
So we have a character, a protagonist who goes through. You wrote such a human side to him. He goes through, what is it, like post-traumatic stress almost, like where he gets shot and it's he thought he was gonna die, but he ends up not dying. But in that same aspect, does this like get him to flinch when that happens again, or is he going to be able to overcome that? I thought that was just such an awesome, not an awesome circumstance for him to go through, but an awesome emotion to have like invoked within him.
And I really appreciate that you like that. That was something I worked very hard on, because there's an aspect of what I call strongman characters that we don't normally see a lot of. Usually that part is glossed over in the evolution of the character. Like with Superman, something happens to him on the farm and he's like, oh my God, I'm okay, because the combine harvester didn't kill me. Or Invincible, he's just cool with getting shot for a bit. Any sort of large strength invulnerability character doesn't really go through the trauma of growing up in a world where you believe this is a deadly thing, and once it happens to you for the first time, you have no concept of like how to psychologically detach yourself from the fact that you have survived something that you've been told your entire life societally will kill you. And for him, what happens, in issues 1 and 2, he has that moment where he's like, oh my God, I've been shot. I don't know what happens. And he goes into shock. And the next day he's embarrassed. He doesn't know how to really handle that. So he goes to talk to his dad, who obviously knows he has powers, and kind of his dad apologizes. His dad's like, I'm so sorry. We didn't know how to help you figure this out because we couldn't bring ourselves to hurt you, to try and figure out how strong you were. Yeah. Which is also a very human thing for a parent, because they're like, yeah, we can teach you how to run, fly, punch. When it comes to seeing your physical pain threshold, nobody really wants to test that.
Well, who wants to point a gun at their kid and be like, all right, let's see if you're going to survive this?
Right. There's that bit in Kick-Ass where he shoots his daughter because she's got the bulletproof vest on, because he's trying to explain to her this will protect you and it will hurt, versus we're going to shoot you without any sort of protection on. We don't know if this is going to hit you or if it's going to hurt you or if it's going to do anything worse. I don't think they could have done that. And, you know, for both of them, it's kind of a traumatic experience, you know, and it, you know, for him and his dad, maybe not his mother, who's much more of a different kind of person.
She like berated him almost. Oh man.
She's a momager. She's a mom manager. I kind of wrote her like one of those moms that like pushes their kids through the beauty pageants when they're very young. She's very much intent on making Veritas very good at his job, even though she has very questionable methods about giving him constructive criticism. So it's a very odd dynamic, but also I like to think it's a very common dynamic you see in families where one of the parents is very intent on giving help that they think is important and very helpful, while the other one is kind of like, I have to now do damage control for what the other one did. And that's part of one of the things I'm trying to do with the series is make really relatable human characters that people go like, oh yeah, no, I know exactly what that's like. Or, you know, yes, just because they're talking about superpowers doesn't mean I haven't experienced a mother who is way too controlling or a father who's a little bit of a pushover. And that causes a weird dynamic in the family.
So, I mean, was issue 1 your first like jump into creating comics?
Yes and no. So there was an original outline that was not like issue 1. And I outlined the first 6 issues because I pitched this to a company that I don't think is around anymore, and they wanted it, and then we kind of just stopped talking. But the original pitch was to happen a year after Veritas had been in training. So he was going to kind of have this down, kind of know what he's doing, kind of be good at this. And I decided that throwing the reader into a world that they so desperately would not understand by tons of like political mechanics, the job, these people, was not fair and would be a lot of work on me to try and backfill all that world explanation. So I ended up restarting and writing issue 1 that you see now, which is, you know, day 1, night 1, year 1 for this guy, and you get to grow with him.
So what made you want to go the webcomic route? Did you have any intention on bringing this to physical form, like when you were creating it?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody has some sort of, with a series like this that isn't kind of like newspaper comics but on the web, everyone kind of has an idea of like, I want to pitch this somewhere and get it picked up and get it, you know, seen by a lot of people. And I did. I've pitched Veritas around to a lot of companies, none of which have the portfolio space for the comic being as nice as possible compared to some of the stuff that I've gotten back. And that is perfectly fine. Superheroes are a hard pitch. You know, the industry is drowning in the genre, and that is perfectly okay, and I understand that. And at a certain point when I was making issues 1 through 6, my partner at the time, she was like, you know, you could just put these online because otherwise you're just sitting on these and no one's going to see them, and that's not fair. And you know, I thought for a bit and, you know, thought she was right. So I built a website that is readable, but it is definitely, you know, baby's first comic website. And I then found Webtoon, and I was like, this is a better space for this. It's more geared for this, and it's got the API that works just better, and it is easier to read on. There's a built-in audience. I'm slowly transitioning that old website into a website that has basically information about all my series and projects. But you know, I was really impressed with what Webtoon had in terms of just like the breadth of genres and the amount of creators that were there, and I heard good things, so I kind of went over there, and I've been enjoying it. You know, I like making something and putting it out, not having to worry about, you know, will the printer give it to me on time? But that is what the Kickstarter is for, because I, you know, have found if I do these small batch print runs, I get it to the people who want it, and I don't have to worry about like, oh God, I have so much inventory. You know, what do I do with all these comics? And I make enough for as many people as want them. I give them something extra for, you know, buying the print run. They get art, they get stickers, they get new pieces of things that have not been seen before that are, you know, unique to the Kickstarter. And that is kind of my thank you to these people who pledge for this to help me kind of make this physical, and, you know, thank them for their, you know, their patronage and being fans and things like that. And I've been enjoying that as well, because it's always nice to get comics in the hands of people who don't read webcomics, because that's still a big, you know, percentage of people, and some of them want this, and that's great.
Oh, that's awesome. So you are not only the writer, but the letterer as well. Can you give us the rest of the creative team involved with this project?
Sure thing. Davis Dominguez is the series artist, does pencils and inks, and he does a fantastic job. I am so very, very fortunate to be working with him. He's an excellent collaborator, and I have nothing but praises to sing for him. Please, please check him out. He is DEIVISGD on Twitter, and he's amazing. Please, please, please go check him out. As for the colorists, we have two on the team. We have Valerie St. Gelais and Nylish Davis. Valerie St. Gelais on Twitter is at Quire Inc., QUIREINK. And Nylisha is Fanatic Creations, I believe, FANTICREATIONS. Oh, wow, look at me spelling things on the fly. That was not prepared. Oh, man. They are an incredible team. Nylisha is the flatter for Valerie. They work very well in tandem. They're a good system. I've been very, very appreciative of them working on issues 1 through 6. Very great, communicative, and great collaborators as well. And that has made this a lot easier for someone who is basically producing an entire project themselves, working with people who are kind, excited about working on the project, and happy to do it has been so nice, as opposed to people who are like, you know, I don't really care about this. You know, if you don't have this stuff, I'm just going to move on to my other project. And which is, I mean, you need to go where the money is, and you need to go where you're getting the jobs. And if this isn't a prestigious project for you, I understand. Working with people who care about it and who enjoy it is, you can't put a price on that. And it's been great to work with these people.
Absolutely. So I think right now would be a perfect segue. Let's go ahead and head over to the campaign and see what the hype is all about. So what made you kind of go the route with dropping all 4 at once? Is this your first Kickstarter, or have you done more before?
So, this is my second crowdfunding campaign. I had my first campaign on Zoop, and that was for issues 1 and 2. And I had a really good experience on Zoop. So, you know, nothing but good things to say about them. I wanted to try my hand at Kickstarter. It's a larger platform with a larger audience. Wanted to see if I could do this on my own. So I am here with all 4 issues, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 and 4 have never been printed before. 1 and 2 have. So obviously you can see we got all 4 issues there. Further down, you can see that there are stickers, pinups that you can get, 2 of which were drawn by Davis Dominguez. One of them was drawn by Josh Hood and colored by DJ Chavez, who is an amazing colorist. And Josh Hood is phenomenal. He does a lot of Dark Horse work. They've given me some really great pieces of art to attach. The stickers you can get, one of them is obviously a Veritas logo. The second one is the logo for the Citizen Defenders Initiative, which is the legal registration act for the superheroes in this world. And
that's awesome.
The 2 new stickers you have are Pinnacle, which is a very shadowy organization that exists within Veritas, who is a paramilitary company that might also employ a lot of metahumans and do things that are not necessarily altruistic. And the 4th sticker is for the Meta Militia, who are a metahuman biker gang that exists in the world, and they are very, very not nice people. But they are also, you know, understandably guys who've had it rough with visible meta mutations and some other untoward things that have happened to them.
Absolutely. We're looking at Veritas print run of issues 1 through 4. Help Wild Hair Comics print their physical run of issues 1 through 4 of the webcomic Veritas. Currently at $1,436 of a $4,000 goal, with 38 backers and 9 days left to go. Right here is the link for everyone that is watching. Be sure to check this out with us. If you're able to back, we would love to see it. But if not, simply putting this on Facebook and Twitter helps just as much, and word of mouth is 100% free. Let's go ahead and check out some of these. You said we had some stickers and prints down below.
We do, yeah. There's also some variant covers for issues 3 and 4, which were so gorgeously done that, and I've been really excited to show those to folks. You can get the physical and digital collections, which have all 4 issues. $10.
3 and 4. Wow, that's outstanding price for a 4-issue collection.
Look, I love giving people literature. I'm a fan of reading, and I think that everybody likes reading.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, some of these are priced fairly reasonably for 4 comics. I believe even the digital one or the physical copies is only about $20 to get all 4 issues, which is pretty much exactly what you spend for Marvel and DC these days. Yeah. Maybe a little less. But there are the variant covers. That one is phenomenal. That was done by Josh Hood. Just love that picture. I love the way that he's drawn Veritas. Mm-hmm. It's really great. And then I believe you go down one more. There's a second variant cover done by Davis, the series creator or series artist. That's awesome. I love that picture of Shield Maiden. It's so cool. And we are just now starting to get into her powers too, which I'm excited about.
She's from is she from Asgard?
She is not. Her gear has been given to her by her former mentor, who has mysteriously disappeared. And where exactly her gear has come from is a source of mystery, but she is able to use them very effectively. The shield is pretty much invulnerable, and the hammer increases her strength and gives her flying ability.
I could have sworn I read something about Odin.
Yes. The weapons are Odin forged.
Okay.
They are made by Odin. How she's gotten them, how her mentor got them, is still unclear to the reader.
I gotcha.
Thank God.
I gotcha. Yeah.
I haven't left that a mystery to myself, but I know how she's gotten them. And her mentor, I believe if you've read issue 3, you do see a picture of her mentor in an old photo on her wall in her apartment, who has disappeared, who had more of the Odin Forge weaponry, is gone.
She mentions Ragnarok as well, correct?
That is her old mentor's name.
Okay,
Ragnarok, yes.
All right. Now it's all starting to click. I just needed to read a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I've tried to not beat the reader over the head with tons and tons of lore when it doesn't matter, but I haven't stopped myself from saying things that are natural for the course of these characters. Like, obviously her friend would know about these things because she's also a hero, so it's something they've talked about, so it wouldn't be like she doesn't know these things. But also Shield Maiden has probably talked about that because they've known each other for years a lot, so it's old hat to them. Versus for the reader, it wouldn't make sense for her to be like, oh, those weapons that you've had for years, and like, that's not a way that normal people talk, in a conversation to each other.
So we have some other awesome tiers as well. You can pledge 30 or more and get a signed physical collection with stickers. Pledge 45 or more, get a signed issue in print bundle. The True Collector's Package, which is going to be 75 or more. And you get all the physicals of issue 1 through 4, all signed, all the stickers, all the prints, everything. And then get drawn in at $100. So another awesome tier as well. I mean,
had some cool cameos that are in the works now from the last campaign that I'm excited to do, because they've given me some really good ideas that I'm like, can I use you as a series regular character? They're like, really? I'm like, that's a funny idea. Can I keep that? And they're like, yes, you absolutely can. So if we work on a fun idea, you might become a series regular, if that is at all enticing to you, to have a little Easter egg of yourself in the series.
So make sure you come up with a good dollar, and for, I mean, what, $100? That is one hell of a price. So guys, right there is the campaign in its entirety. Be sure to check out this link once again. Right there it is. That being said, it is time for us to switch back over to our other scene. So after going through that Kickstarter and looking at all those tiers, John, what would you like to say to anyone who might be on the fence about backing?
First of all, completely understandable. I have a Kickstarter problem myself. I totally get it. So no shame. If you are on the fence, if you want to see more indie comics, getting more like this, more like Veritas, more like others like Veritas out in the world is how you do that. Showing people the types of series and the types of stories that you want by helping them succeed, helping other artists continue to make comics is how we get new art, new cool things. There's so many awesome comics on Kickstarter, new campaigns every day. If you are tired of what you see on the shelves, this is how you get new stuff. I would absolutely love to give you my story and the story that I've worked on with my team, and I hope you enjoy it. And really, that's all I really want to do, is give you a good story and have a good time.
And I mean, if you're on the fence, you can read issues 1 through 4. I mean, you have way more too. It seems like it's an ongoing series.
Yes, there are technically 12 issues that you could read. And I'm slowly getting them up on Webtoons over time. I'm waiting on the finished colors for 5 and 6, and then you can read issues 1 through 6 if you'd like. I believe issues 1 through 6 are complete right now on Webtoon if you want to keep reading it. 7 through 12, same. Those are getting colored right now by a new team, and I'm excited to show those too. So if you're on the fence and you want to see what you're going to get, you can read issue 1 for free right now, and if you want to get the rest of it, you can. I totally, absolutely recommend checking something out before you buy it. And I would not be insulted.
No, that is awesome. So, John, before I let you go, I always love asking guests for a little bit of advice for anyone who might be new within the comic creating scene. So, with that being said, for anyone who is just starting out and having a hard time getting motivated, what advice would you offer them to help them kind of just get that little boost and to, just to get going with their project?
It's okay. You're doing fine. What you are doing is important, and what you are doing is how you continue to make art. It's totally okay if it's not the way that you think it's supposed to look. It's totally okay if it's not sounding quite right. You can always fix it. You can always change it, but make it. It's more important that you make it than if you sit around waiting for it to be perfect, because even your worst piece of art can inspire somebody else to make their own. And that's important. And that means that you're important. So keep it up.
It's some awesome advice there, John. Thank you so much for that as well. Everyone watching right here is that link to check out. Once more, if you're unable to bag, just put this wherever you can. Word of mouth is 100% free. That being said, it is time for us to wrap up. I hope you all have a fantastic Wednesday evening, but most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.